We have been listening to and watching federal authorities in Minneapolis, Minnesota, discussing charges against this man, Vance Boetler. He is accused of killing Minnesota State Representative and former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband over the weekend. Police also say that Boetler shot and injured State Senator Mark Hoffman and his wife. We heard the acting U.S. attorney in Minnesota say this was a political assassination. We also heard just now, they repeated it, that this person, they say, went to the homes of at least 4 elected officials. Let me bring in NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster, who's been watching all of this and covering it. Shaq, that headline that he went to not just 2 homes but 4 homes is news.
Yeah, you heard federal authorities there explain that this is something that, in their words, nightmares are made out of, that these are chilling details that we're learning. And we learned a lot in that press conference as they detailed why they were charging him with these 6 federal charges that include stalking using interstate facilities, murder of the Hortmans, and shooting of the Hoffmans. Now, we learned there that he went to 4 different homes. The official there said he stalked his victims like prey. He stopped at those 4 houses with the intent to kill. He started at the home of the Hoffmans. The officials there say that it was their daughter that ultimately called and presumably saved their lives. And that's what started this chain of investigations, where we know that authorities say the suspect went to 2 other homes of lawmakers. At one point encountered a police officer who was responding, who tried to talk to the suspect, authorities say, and essentially didn't make contact, and then ultimately kept going. And that's when this all ended at the home of the Hortmans, who were killed after a shootout between the suspect and police that were arriving there on scene to essentially do a wellness check. So this was a really chilling details and a chilling account that we learned from authorities. They did say that the suspect is now in federal custody. We can expect to see him in court at 2:30 Eastern time. This is when we can presumably hear a little bit more, and also they will make the case to a judge to keep him detained as this investigation, really prosecution, goes forward. And I think another key thing that's important to really tie down, because this was the source of so much misinformation over the course of the weekend, but you heard officials really clarifying the notes, the idea that he had some manifesto. They said no, the why of this, why he acted in this way is not clear at this point, but that through a search of his vehicle, a search of his home, they recovered extensive notes that they say were taken over the course of years, and that, or excuse me, months, and included numerous names of state elected officials, federal elected officials, and even some abortion rights activists. So they're saying that there's no real sense of why he did this, or why he took these steps, but that's definitely a focus of the investigation, and clearly the chilling details that they just explained to us in that account that they gave, it really sends shivers up your spine when you know how much planning went into this, according to those federal authorities, Kate.
Yeah, Shaq, they said many, many notebooks, dozens and dozens of names, over hundreds of pages. It does make you wonder if he had plans beyond the state of Minnesota, potentially. Shaq, just one last question. The initial court appearance for those federal charges is coming up, as you said. Do we expect to see that, or what are the plans?
Usually we'll not see it. I know we have reporters who are in Minnesota that are likely going to be in the courtroom, so we'll get notes from that. So we don't know exactly if that, I should say, we don't expect that to be on camera, but we'll expect to get a readout of what exactly happens after that. Now, we did hear from state authorities. Remember, he was already facing state charges, including second-degree murder, and then today we learned that the state prosecutors were going to be charging him with first-degree murder. If we talk about the distinctions here, the biggest sentence, the biggest possible sentence with these federal charges is the death penalty. In Minnesota, the highest penalty would be life in prison without the possibility of parole. So these are going to be 2 different tracks that we see him on. He is now in federal custody, so that will be the source or the reason for the court appearance later today. But this is a suspect who is facing some very serious charges. He is facing facing, like I said, the death penalty at the federal level, but we can expect to see a long criminal process ahead as this investigation and prosecution continues.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.